Today, Flywoo is releasing an all-new naked GoPro case for the Hero 9, 10, 11, and 12. I use naked GoPros almost daily for FPV fly-through work, and my go-to setup has been the GEP-RC case for the last year or so. Really didn't have any plans on switching until I was sent this new case from Flywoo. This thing has some features that I didn't even realize I needed until now. Alright, so Flywoo is selling these as pre-built naked GoPros right from their site, and those are going to range in price from $380 to the GoPro 9 like I have here, to about $600 for a Hero 12. Or you could get the kit for $95 if you want to just do it yourself. Something important to note, the GEP-RC case that I have right here does sell for $80, so it is a little bit cheaper, but let's go over why that $15 difference is pretty worth it for the Flywoo case. Here I have the GoPro 9 in the new case. The Hero 10, 11, and 12 will all look the exact same and will weigh the exact same. The only difference will be the number that's printed on the side of the case. Weight-wise, this one weighs 48 grams, and then just for a comparison, the GEP-RC case weighs 47 grams, so 1 gram difference between the two. Keep that in mind. So focusing on the Flywoo case, we've got a full-sized front screen and the ability to add ND or UV filters. Speaking of, the kit and the pre-built GoPros from Flywoo come with this UV filter already installed. The entire case is made out of CNC aluminum, which is the first difference from the GEP-RC case that I really like. The GEP-RC case has CNC aluminum in the front, but the back is just a piece of plastic, whereas when you're looking at the Flywoo case, this entire thing is made out of aluminum. Underneath the lens, we have these grooves, and these are just going to help with heat dissipation and just keeping the internals cool. But as far as ventilation goes, all of the ventilation is just on the back. We have grooves right here, and then our primary fan is right in the middle. All right, so now we're going to talk about two of my favorite features on this case. We've got a magnetic port right here, and this is for firmware updates. Let's focus on this one first. They include this cable in the bag, and pretty much this is a magnetic end, and this just kind of attaches itself. And this is for your battery. So when you're taking apart a GoPro, if you're familiar with doing firmware updates on a naked GoPro, you know that you have to save stuff like this because this end has to plug into the main board. And then in order to do the software update and everything, you need your screen attached. And you're kind of fumbling around all these ribbon cables and just trying to hold it all together so it stays together. This attaches right like that. We've got a little blue LED right on this part right here. This end attaches to that, and now we hit the power button and the GoPro turns right on. So in addition to the magnetic mount so that you can easily do firmware updates, they have this USB-C port. Now what this USB-C port for is for the screen. Both of these things you cannot do in the GEP-RC case. If you need to do a firmware update and you have these cases, you pretty much have to take off the back, take out the board, and then you're going to be fumbling around this thing and your screen, and you're going to have these ribbon cables everywhere, and it just gets a little difficult. So now instead of having to do that, this case is actually made of CNC aluminum, I think. Yeah. So the screen case is made out of CNC aluminum, and we also have a USB-C plug here. This is the male end, and then we have the female end here. You take the screen, plug it in like you would plug in anything that's USB-C, and now we have easy access to change the settings. So if we took this battery right now, plugged it in, hit the power button on the back of the GoPro, this is going to turn on and we should see the screen right here. So now you can change all of your settings and connect it to your phone if you need to. Actually, let's do that right now. Open the Quick app. I'm going to connect my phone to this real quick. So let's add this camera. Do that. We found your GoPro, Hero 9 Black, connect camera, and then you just pretty much set it up as a normal GoPro. There we go. I didn't even realize we had a speaker on this thing. Maybe that's a speaker in the front. I don't know if it's a speaker or a microphone. Name it Naked Hero 9 Black. Save name. So this case makes this a lot easier than doing this kind of thing on the GEP-RC case, and it's really just a very, very sleek design. I love this. Now this screen will work with whether you have a Hero 9, 10, 11, or 12. This screen will work with all of them. So you pretty much only need one screen, and you can just kind of plug it in, change your settings, plug it into the other one, change your settings, plug it into the other one, change your settings. Keeping along the back, we have our power or mode button, and then we have our shutter button right here. And now finally in this bottom corner, we have our input and actually some output pads. So this input pad right here goes to this plug. They include this bag of power plugs, so if you wanted to solder these wires directly to your flight controller, you could do that, but they do also have this. Now this is a plug that attaches to a balance lead, so you could say you're powering your drone off of, actually I'll use this 6S LiPo. You can do anywhere from 3S to 6S. The camera supports 2S to 6S, but this plug is 3S to 6S. So I have a 6S battery here, plug this in right there. 6S voltage is going in, output 12 volts to this. So 12 volts going in, and then this right here is the input, right next to that is output. So we have battery and ground. So whatever voltage you're putting into the camera is gonna go out those pads. So if you're using this balance plug right here, since this is only outputting 12 volts, you're gonna have 12 volts coming out. I think on their site it says 5 volts, but I measured it and we got 12 volts coming out. So I'm pretty sure that this is just gonna be outputting whatever voltage is going into the camera. On this side, we have our micro SD card slot. And now last, but certainly not least, we have tons of mounting options. So since Flywoo has included these two mounts, you have a normal GoPro sized mount, and then you also have this smaller one. Now this is the same size mount that comes on the GEP-RC case. GEP-RC case only has this mount in the back, so you pretty much have to mount the camera, you know, like that. But on the Flywoo case, we have a bunch of holes on the sides and on the bottom, so you can choose where the mount actually goes. So we've got this mount right here, so you can have the camera mounted just right on, just right in line. This is the most similar to the GEP-RC case, or you can shift this down to these 4 holes, and now your camera is actually gonna be right in line with your FPV camera. If you wanna film vertical, you can take this mount off, and now you have even more mounting on the side. So if you wanna film vertical for Instagram or TikTok, you can take this mount and you can move it right like that, and now you can have vertical videos that are right in line with your FPV camera. Or you can mount it over to the side like this, so that you can have it just kind of in the center. Camera's gonna be off a little bit from your FPV camera, but not by much. So tons of different options as far as mounting goes. This is something that I actually just printed for the GEP-RC case, and this adds 13 grams to the naked GoPro. So now this naked GoPro right here, in order to film vertical, I need this because there's no way to mount this on its side. So you kind of need to print something like this, but this brings the weight of this naked GoPro up to 60 grams. With this one, these mounts weigh about 2 grams. So in the end, you're looking at about 50 grams, 10 gram difference if you want to film vertical. So pretty big difference between the two, especially if you want to potentially film vertical. So Flywoo has really knocked it out of the park for me with this case. This thing is solid. I had no intentions of switching my GEP-RC naked GoPros over to Flywoo, but I am seriously considering it, especially because I just you can't do firmware updates on this. You can't connect the screen. There's been times where I'm on site filming something, and with this case, I have to have my phone out and I have to change the settings through that so that I can have the live view and see what the footage looks like. Whereas with this, all I have to do is take this screen, plug it in, and I can change all the settings right on here. So I am seriously debating changing all of my GoPros over to this case now. Actually, you know what? Flywoo, if you're watching this, if you want to send me some Hero 11 cases and a Hero 12 case, I will buy a Hero 12. I'll make a whole dedicated video on how to strip down a Hero 12, assemble it in this case, and you guys can see how this case actually goes together, and we can get everything wired up, and I'll have some new cases for all my naked GoPros. So yeah, compared to the GEP-RC case, I think these are the main 2 naked GoPro cases right now for the Hero 9 through 12. I know Nameless RC had a case for a while. I don't think that's still around. I used to have one, but the one that I had didn't have a fan on the back. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna deal with some overheating issues. I've never had any overheating issues with this, and I doubt I'm gonna have any overheating issues with this just since we have that fan on the back to keep everything cool. I am gonna test overheating. I'm not doing it in this video, but I'm gonna just, I film in 5K, so if I experience any overheating issues, I will leave that down in the description or in the comments. So I really think that this is the ideal naked GoPro case. I love that the entire thing is CNC aluminum. Not only that, but the screen case is made out of CNC aluminum. I mean, it's all just solid. We've got the full front screen. You've got tons of mounting points all around the lens to have whatever mounting you want. The magnetic upgrade port is sick. The USB-C screen, the power out is cool. I honestly don't really think I'll ever use it for anything, but it's cool to have in case you need a 12 volts out or voltage out. So if this video helped you out or you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave this video a like, and if you have any questions about Flywoo's naked GoPro case V2, leave a comment down below.